هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال هلا بالخميس.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. هلا بالخميس is ليلة الجمعة, and we are about to usher, like we say every week, the best day of the week, the best day upon which the sun rises, insha'Allah ta'ala. So much has happened this week for the educators. They can see the silver lining. The Queen is finally under the ground. And, that it's just amazing. The hikmah and the wisdom of Islam encouraging, the swift burial of our dead. But before we get into tonight's topic, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, Mashaykh?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How's
Alhamdulillah.
everything? I clearly didn't get the memo, the outfit memo. Because the man like I'm snazzy vanaan met sy blazer.
Shukran people. Prophet.
No, definitely. Mullah Ashik, he always, engages me in fashion and fashion choices. When moving from one kufiya to the other kufiya. Have you found a kufiya that you a topi? What a kufi? What else is it called? A taqiyya?
Taqiyya. Qalanzwa.
Have you found one that you're comfortable with?
I think I don't know how to describe the one that I normally wear. That's the one that I because that's the one that I find inside.
The Nizami, the
I don't know what you call it.
The one with the pleats.
The one with the pleats and the round thingy.
I call it the Tablighi one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Nizam. The Dars Nizami guys usually wear.
It's because I have a unique head, as you can see, a spire clean.
So I get very opposite problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so I need to be very specific. And so I go to if I go to a shop and I see something that I like, I normally buy like 5 or 6 of them.
Otherwise you opt for.
Then I know I can chop and change. You get a bruine, a groene, a zwarte, etc.
I have the same issue again, but the opposite side, it's big. And I also went through different phases with the kufis.
Kufis, yeah.
But I kind of now settled on the doily.
But also,
Ebrahim, you settled with that one.
But that's a new edition, huh?
I had the doily first.
Okay.
And then I moved over.
But the doily was deep, no? It was over the eyebrows. It was over the eyebrows. You know that style? Thobe is till here.
Yes.
The over the eyebrows.
The Jamiat Imam style.
The Jamiat Imam style, yeah.
Students in Jamiat Imam in Riyadh, they all wear like that. It's like a neck brace, neck brace thobe almost that they wear. But the Queen has been finally put under the ground. Sometimes when I deal with people that work for me and the amount of expense and difficulty a family goes through when burying a loved one, right? So the person is originally from the Eastern Cape. He dies in Cape Town. The body has to go to the Eastern Cape. Families have to go down and do the burial rites, and thousands of rands are, spent.
Yeah.
But if you look at how
the prophetic way of doing it,
prophetic way, such a wise way.
No takalluf, no. They even have in these traditional janais or funerals, they even have mourners that cry. That they bring in and bus in, and
slaughtering of sheep every day.
Slaughtering of sheep and all of these things. Yeah. And Islam's, I think many people, and Allah knows best, they become Muslim when they see the simplicity, ease, and the lack of takalluf, the lack of takalluf, the burden of our burial process. Alhamdulillah,
it's not burdensome. طيب, so tonight's discussion is going to be a bit hot, because we're speaking about something that the other gender once
something that we don't have experience about, basically.
Yeah, something that we don't have experience of, other than reading articles, reading books, and also when I'd like to sign a disclaimer when we do mention these points. it doesn't apply to each and every
Yes.
individual.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes.
general,
Mm.
it's a general guideline. And then secondly, and more importantly, it's perhaps not applicable to any of our spouses. You know, because
Yeah.
you know we don't want people to think now. You know, the case
It's a
studies that we
it's a
bring up,
personal
that's
account,
It's a
yeah.
personal.
Yeah.
It's a personal account. So it's you know, case studies, people, you know, things that we've experienced in interaction with people. It's reading the text, and it's reading outside of the text.
Yeah.
How important, Mullah Ebrahim, is it for imams to read outside of the, you know, the black and white,
The traditional
especially the
textbook,
traditional
yeah.
text, especially now with marriage issues and divorce and so forth and so on. How important is it to equip yourself with reading other material also?
It's extremely important. I think as imams, you basically get your curriculum and you go through the curriculum and you don't really touch on contextual issues as it's happening nowadays, man. So let me say, we need more of life coaches than anything else today. More of consultants than anything else today. People don't usually come to you. Sometimes people just come to you to listen to them, man. And to kind of guide them, and not for da'wah, man. No, but you must do that, and the Rasulullah says you must do that, and Quran says you must do that. Basically, a basic.
They come to
avenue for
debrief.
them.
They come
Yes.
to debrief. They come
Yes.
to just talk.
Also,
Just talk, yes.
the philosophy of a Muslim is al-hikmah dalatul mu'min. You know, the any piece of knowledge or wisdom or understanding, it is the lost property of a believer. And if you approach life in that with that approach to life, and I think reading any type of material, whether it's the 5 love languages by
Yes.
Gary Chapman,
and all of these individuals, Dr. Phil, and I mean, there will be fa'idah in it. Obviously, as Muslims and as tullab, students of deen, Allah Ta'ala has blessed us with a certain amount of principles and tools through which we can sift out that which is beneficial and from that which is not beneficial.
But the amazing thing, when I read self-help books, it's almost always possible to link it to some sunnah or some athar from you know, a pious predecessor.
But as students, it was almost like it was kind of haram, man, to read outside of your dars, number one, and to read English books. So you must read Arabic. No, and that kind of put students off from benefiting, because they read Arabic and they struggled with the language, and it kind of they gave up.
Yes.
And you
No, I think that balance is or should be there. I mean, the initial study should be focused on
your Arabic,
on your
acquisition,
Arabic and your Quran and Sunnah, and then
but
once
I mean, as you grow as well, man.
yes,
you need to become more diverse
definitely.
and also these things that come out of the various, you know, life coaching books and stuff like that, self-help books. These things are universal things, man. So it can be traced back to some type of, you know, ancient philosophy or some teaching and so forth and so on. Yeah, so I think it's super important for students of deen, imams, specifically imams that deal with these type of issues, you know, marriage and, you know, helping people in the community, social issues, to read vastly.
Should every student of knowledge involve himself in this type of work? I don't think anybody asks for it.
Yeah,
right? Personally, I remember
you are thrusted into that position.
Yeah, I remember sitting, you know, at a friend's house once, and his brother-in-law was an imam, and they knocked on the door looking for the brother-in-law, right? And we were both still students, like very, very
early,
very, very early. So this lady knocks on the door and she's looking for this imam, and we said no, he's not here, and he doesn't live here. So she's like, "Maar julle kan ook maar saam gaan, man." So what's the issue? Nee, my man slat me. Yeah, I mean, we like 19, 20, right? Just starting to study. I point blank refused because you don't know what you getting yourself into, man. And sometimes, you know, launching too early into that ocean, that field, it's troublesome. But anyway, Sheikh, we have a specific topic for this evening in continuation of the Qabiltu checklist or hashtag Qabiltu.
Hashtag Qabiltu.
And so last week we started with
what women need to know about men, about their husbands.
Yeah, men are from Makkah and women are from Medina. And so this week we are treading lightly,
Yeah,
so that,
very lightly.
so as not to
Ice skates on.
offend anyone, inshallah ta'ala. Because people might ask, right? So why are there men speaking about what women want? I think it's, for me, it's nasiha to myself and to my brothers on what is really required. You know.
Definitely, yes.
Shaykh, go for it, inshallah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It feels like I'm reading a classical text and the Sheikh is going to give his commentary on it.
قال المصنف
قال
رحمه
المصنف رحمه الله. So the point number one, inshallah, is what men need to know about their wives, about women, is number one, women need the reassurance that they are always loved.
So how do we reassure?
There are obviously many ways of doing it. You know, I love you. You are beautiful.
Words.
Words of affirmation, of, you know, reassuring her that you love her. I think any female, you know, my wife always tells me, you know, tell me this, tell me that.
You know, my wife can actually say if I didn't say that I love you for a while, she says, and she can remember.
I noticed
the last time you told me was that day and that
Allah.
date. And you know, I was listening to a talk this morning where one of the points that actually the sheikh that you took that notes from, he says that a woman never forgets. You know, something which happened 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 years, 20 years. And that's why they say, you know, in Indian tradition, sometimes I have the record button.
Yeah. They say this is scientifically proven that a certain aspect of the brain of the female is more advanced than that of the male. And for this reason, she really forgets.
Our brain is designed different. Our body is designed different. So she will forget other things, but matters to do with her husband, to do with her spouse, is not easily forgotten.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sayyidatina Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the hadith is a bit weak, how do you love me? And this is like an unbound knot.
Yes, I love, yes.
Right? And then every time in the head, little
skirmish.
And she would ask,
how's the knot?
How's the knot?
So they had the codes, they had the language. And she needed that affirmation.
Yes.
Because I think last week we got a question that, and we said probably it's a millennial, because Elizabeth, she's after us always 80s and 70s. But okay, you know, it's do you question your whole marriage once you have a quarrel?
I don't think so. No,
is it normal?
Is it normal? It depends the level of the quarrel. It depends what you are quarreling about. You get what I'm saying? If it's like, or you know, why did you say that to me in public? Then I don't think it's gonna.
I think it has lots to do with the method of discipline. I think we were a bit harder, right? We went through corporal punishment, which I'm not saying I'm for or against, but sometimes it could be necessary. And then it like just there's this Instagram video, you know, the school going the 80s, and doesn't even flinch, and then the 90s boy, muk, 2000, so you know, as time goes on, people are, I think, more sensitive, more fragile, and like you said last week, men are fragile beings. So now they have their first argument, and his mother has never or her mother has never reprimanded her or scolded her. There's always tiptoeing around the kid and not upsetting the kid. And then now,
when something happens, he doesn't know.
But you're not an authoritative figure. You're like, we equals, man. And now you're raising your voice or you reprimanding me, and you know, this marriage is not immediately. This marriage is not going to work. Right? So,
and it also depends how, if you want the marriage to work. You know, like I've heard like people get married 2 months later, divorced, 18 years old maybe. You know, there's a lack of maturity, man. There's a lack of sabr and mercy.
And I think they also have the reasons for getting married hazy, man. When a person gets married, most of the time, an 18-year-old or a 16-year-old gets married, usually it's from a very orthodox, strict Islamic home. Right? So now they feel that when they're married, they'll have more freedom. They won't have a curfew. They won't, you know, there's a ton of other things that they can do that they maybe couldn't do.
Were deprived of,
And for daddy's rule. And now they get married and they realize it's a responsibility more than freedom and no
Yeah.
curfew.
Yeah, so affirmation, affirming that love. And hadith comes to mind, the famous hadith where the Prophet is asked by Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, Man ahabbu nas ilayk, who is the most beloved of people to you? And the very first name that comes to the mind of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Aisha. He mentions that ala mahdar min as-sahaba, in front of many of the companions. He mentions this, which proves to us this is something unheard of in the Arabian Peninsula at the time. People generally don't mention the fact that they love their wives, let alone mentioning the names of their wives. So
I don't know. Today.
Yeah, when I was there, and I don't know what I asked the boy. He would call his mother something, and then when I asked him about calling them, mentioning the name of his mother, he would say Ib. Like it's like
It's Lilik.
I mean, like, look how far people have strayed from the.
No, but it's actually very confusing, man. Because I mean, the names are reused also, man. Like there are certain names in the Gulf, or specifically in Saudi, like Abdullah and Abdul Aziz.
So frequent you have to say something.
And everybody, and doing that with a mother also, it makes things difficult. But they navigate around it. But sometimes we want to adopt that also, man. Like I was speaking to somebody else. When I was speaking to Shaykh Muhammad Tim. So I asked him, were you also Abu something at one point?
Isn't he Abu something?
I don't know.
Ek verbeel my ek het gesien Abu something somewhere.
Is it?
But you also Abu something.
Abu Sofia.
Hy was back in the day, man. Ek was seker 15 gewees uit dit. You know, everything kullu jadid ladid was man.
And I remember being on Umrah and Shaykh Muhammad Arifdin was with, and he said, as ek jou sien ek op jet top, as ek jou sien jy's Abu Thiyab. And then I introduced myself at one of the
meetings together.
Abu Thiyab. I was Abu Thiyab, and Sheikh Bilal was with, and he was like, Abu who?
He was like, to make sense. I was like, the one Sheikh I was listening to Sheikh, and he says his teacher called him Abu Kutub.
Because he bought a lot of books.
No, because whenever he went to the Sheikh's house, the Sheikh would do something quickly, and you would stand in the library of the Sheikh and just take the names of the books, man. Memorize the names and the authors of the books. So it was called Abu Kutub.
But anyway, affirmation.
And there are various ways of doing affirmation, right? So it's things that you say.
Yeah.
But why is it so difficult for men then to affirm?
I think it's the way we are wired, man. Like we are straightforward. We mentioned this. We are very mechanical and robotic, man.
Okay.
And women are more in touch with the emotions.
So basically, we would say you must know it.
You know,
we won't repeat something.
Yeah. That's the main reason. And sometimes women don't understand that. So obviously, verbal affirmations, physical affirmations, touch,
non-sexual,
yeah.
But I think for a man, any touch is. You think
that's a problem.
It is a problem.
It's a problem.
So how do you navigate around that, Shaykh Ebrahim?
Sheikh, I don't know.
As a man,
Yeah.
Look, sure, shucks.
Sometimes you must say, I don't know, because you don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have your natural fitra, you have your natural inclination, and you want to be the nice guy a bit today, right? You just don't want to be that man. Like we mentioned last week, sex empowers men. It's always on our mind.
Yeah.
And when we are nice, right, and we buy something, we want to be rewarded. But then sometimes it's just required from us to do that selfless
actions. Yeah.
That hug.
Yeah.
The kiss on the forehead.
Kiss on the forehead. Yeah.
Kiss on the cheek. The holding the hand.
Yeah. Inshallah.
And that is what sisters want.
Yeah, they want that. Yeah.
They want the affirmation through words and
actions.
through actions, through touch.
And an important thing to note also is that when women are emotional, we should never walk away from them. We should never leave them in that statement. They want to be comforted. I think that's important, inshallah.
Again, that's a general rule. Because, okay, so what do you do if the spouse, your wife says, just get out?
Yeah.
She's upset. Just go away. Just get out. How far do you walk? You get the guy, gets in his car, and he doesn't come back for the.
So what I'll do is I'll walk out of the house and walk back in. I responded to your command.
So basically, could we say that the mechanisms that the Prophet ﷺ put in place for anger management could be adopted at that time when you're arguing with your spouse? So taking wudu, sitting down,
standing if you're sitting.
isti'adha, saying
Isti'adha, definitely.
because that's something we forget, that crack that we leave open for shaitan. Right, and when shaitan sends his henchmen out and they
He
come
wants
back
to
to
make the
report,
freak, yeah.
he wants that
Separation.
family split up,
yeah.
then he's happy.
Yeah, that's an achievement. That's the greatest achievement.
We also, Mark, we also don't know, you know, how many times your clothes were in bags already and all up in here, right?
Yeah.
You don't even know, but you were put out 10 times already, but you're still there. That is to the extent that they think, man, and we don't think anything of it. We think, okay, this is gonna blow over. I'm not really gonna make effort. Time will just. But they remember those things.
Yeah.
And when you have that conversation,
And you didn't even
afterwards,
make an effort.
then you hear your clothes were in bags, and
Yeah.
jy was al weggehaal, jy was al by jou ma se huis gewees al.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know because you didn't attach any seriousness to the matter, man. That is also something that we must be cognizant of when we some things to us is this. It's not that important. We don't attach importance to it, and we think that everything is just going to blow over. You don't need to make effort.
And I think that's what causes the abrupt end of many a marriage, because you think your partner will just
She'll get
around, she'll just snap out of it, and that never.
And that happens years and years and years. It festers, and then she says
Now that is the other thing. They have I don't know if it's a paper trail or a memory trail or whatever.
Memory card.
A memory card. And you only going back to what did I do now?
She's going 10 years back.
She's going back. And you're trying to retrace your steps this morning when I left, everything was in her. And you're only going back till then. The last smile, man.
Yeah.
You can't make sense. But it's something, and you're like, hey bro, you must not go on. Last week stuff. But it came up again.
Last year.
Yes, and you're sweeping it under the carpet, so it wasn't resolved.
Solving it, yeah.
Yeah,
resolving it, yeah.
But that also has a lot to do with how we're wired, man. Because they are created with the ability to multitask. And we are goal focused or goal orientated. We do one thing, so we'll do one thing and go on to the next thing and do another thing and then go on to the next thing, where they can easily cook a pot of food, look after the children, do the assignment for the studies,
and
all at one time. So now you started the day good, right? But then something clicked from last week. So now all that is up there, and then the emotion,
now look
flows
at that hadith. Is it Sulaim and Abu Talha?
But what the child?
The child passed on. Look at that. The child passed on. He went to go work. He comes back. She cooks him dinner. She presents it to him. She makes it nice. He asked about the child, and she's saying he's more peaceful than what he was.
Yes.
She gives him his right, and then she has a nice conversation afterwards. What do you think if somebody gave you something and they took it back to you? Any right? It is a nice way. The janazah is in the house of the baby. And we can't. We won't.
We can't do that.
We can't.
I don't think. We incapable of doing
stuff like that. Yeah. Now that is the woman again. So we can't understand that.
And it's important that they had to be wired like that for the motherhood and to be that anchor in the home. Because I mean, the husband gets retrenched and his primary role is provider. Now he doesn't have a role anymore, and he feels worthless.
Yes.
Who's the one that usually okay, ons gaan maar flea market toe. Look, we can take that money. Let's make some savories and salad. Or it's the woman that brings that
they
stability.
Can assume any role.
I mean, the Prophet ﷺ, in one of the most difficult points in his life, they are prevented from going into Makkah for Umrah. They're out on the outskirts. And now the Sahaba, they need to, because they're not going for Umrah, they need to slaughter the hadi and cut the hair. And nobody's listening to the Prophet ﷺ. And who does he go to? Umm Salama then gives him that advice, do that and that and the other. So at that, they are emotional beings, but at times when you need them to be level-headed, they definitely are level-headed.
They're the ones.
Sheikh Ashik, تفضل.
Khair, inshallah. Another way, also, we missed this point. So verbal affirmations, physical affirmations, touch, hugs, kisses, lots of non-sexual
And I think that's very important for the brothers
Yeah.
to know. Not
And
every touch,
Affection.
not
Affection, yeah.
affection.
and
Affection.
just generally companionship, opening up to her emotionally, showing her your emotions. She wants to see that.
Yeah.
They want that.
You just need to listen.
Mm.
You see, when we have a problem, we need to solve it as males, man. We need to have we need to have a solution. Like for example, Shaykh, you'd come in here and you say, no, you had a problem with your car. And so now immediately we'll say, go to Muhammad, he's a good mechanic, and go to this one for the parts and that and the other. Whereas your wife would come and tell you about something which happened today, and she doesn't necessarily want a reaction from you.
Yeah.
Right? Especially, and I think, and last week I got a message from someone asking for help. They live, as many people do today, with the in-laws, right? And there's a sister, and the sister is mentally challenged, and all this is now being, it's an issue with the, I won't say new bride, but it's still in the 5-year itch, and how does she navigate around these problems? Because, it's the in-law story and that, many things. So the husband comes home, right? And the wife tells him, this happened, your sister told me this, your mother told me this. It's not always that they want you to react. They don't want you to go knock your mother's door down. Mommy, hoe kan mommy so gesê het van my vroue het en al. They just want you to
listen.
They want you to listen. And they want you to say, no, that's enough. They don't want to burn bridges. They don't want to necessarily cause problems in your home.
But they want to take a load off me. This is what I'm feeling. You, my partner. If I don't tell you, who am I going to tell?
And if you're not going to be in my corner of the ring, who's going to be?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So listen to listen and not to answer.
That's where the libas comes
Again.
Listen to listen and not to answer.
Yes, salam. Yes, salam. Yes, salam. Al-hikmah dhalatul.
Now.
So, Shaykh Ebrahim, Moulana, what do we advise brothers that's in that situation that now, no uittrek, and many people will stay because they can't afford, or it's easier, but just moving out, you're living with your parents, right? Or you built on the property, and now the first complaint your wife has about your mother, what kind of advice? What advice do we give to a brother that's in such a situation? Like you said last week, my mother, my wife, and you end up pleasing nobody.
No one.
Yeah.
I think we as a couple, we must probably have the conversation. Look here, this is my parents. I understand them better. Speak to me. Don't you don't also need to, and you as the son, you must then address your parents in a manner which is befitting. And you take it from there. There's no proper answer for that, man. Because you don't know to which extent.
Treat with respect. Treat with respect.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put, today I was having a conversation with Sheikh Nasser, and he's saying that, we had the advice as kids, as children, your ma het altyd vir jou gesê, wees maar die minste my kind. Let them take your rights, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will see to it that you get your rights. So if you forgo your rights in that regard, for the respect, out of respect for your parents, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring about ease in that marriage. And when you do move, it's going to be something to be celebrated, not a entire.
And when you make yourself the minister, it's not for that person, it's for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's for Allah and for the sanctity of that marriage.
Yes.
And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has beautiful words about making yourself the minister. When you make yourself the minister, Allah elevates you. So I think also one of the big problems in that type of scenario is that we don't also want to acknowledge that there might be some problems with my family.
No, definitely.
Or these,
yeah,
it's toxic. They are toxic and baggage and many other things, but not my family.
When I was working,
you the problem.
When I was working at IU, right, myself and yourself as well, We had Sheikh Dr. Bilal Phillips' questions. So Dr. Bilal Phillips has a Facebook page.
Ask the imam.
And that's what Ask the Imam. It's like probably just Dr. Bilal Phillips.
Yeah.
And then people send questions to Dr. Bilal Phillips. Now, obviously, you cannot see to thousands of questions. So what they would do is they would hand over the questions to us to answer them. And most of those questions would be marriage and family-related issues, man. My mother doesn't like my wife, or my mother-in-law doesn't love me, or oh, no, I'm married to this lady and my mother doesn't approve of her. And all of these things, man, mostly from the subcontinent.
Yeah. Or people from the subcontinent who settle.
Yeah, it's like, you know what?
It follows them.
I will sacrifice my wife, but I'm not gonna, like, they have this unhealthy understanding of the rights of your parents, man.
Yeah.
To the extent, like, what does the Quran and Sunnah teaches us? It teaches me and you birrul walidain.
Yeah.
Not at-ta'a al-mutlaqa, unrestricted obedience. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And some people have a unhealthy understanding of what entails parenthood.
And some parents have unhealthy expectations
of the kids,
of what bir.
Yeah, definitely.
Please. Now you know that silly question that they ask you. You on a boat and with you is your mother and with you is your wife, and there's only place for one. Who are you gonna chuck overboard and whatever? Imagine you're on a boat. And I say, Sheikh, there's
I'm not
no chance of me being on a boat with two of them alone. So don't ask me stuff like that. And just stop imagining.
Yeah.
That is scenarios that you don't want to put yourself in.
Yes.
Why would you put yourself
choose
through
one
all of
or the
that?
other.
Yeah. You don't need to choose one.
Each have rights over you,
Yes.
but in the
Try to say
And it's
both of them.
different. And it's
different types of rights. Yeah.
Different.
Shashi.
Yes, inshallah. Point number 2, thought process. Women think very differently to men.
Definitely.
Men compartmentalize. We deal with one problem at a time and then move on. As you've mentioned,
So
women
basically,
can multitask.
there can be trouble at home and he can still perform at work.
Exactly, yeah.
All right.
Just park it somewhere.
Then you hear such and such a muallima is not teaching anymore now because she's going through a divorce. But the husband is
Going
quite
on.
fine at work because he can compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize.
So
Don't worry, I practiced it a few times.
and I think that's very important, and especially I learned that the hard way because I wear many hats. Right, I have different roles that I play, and I don't have room for one to wash over into the other. So if I'm in imam zone, I can't be construction worker zone because I might swear on the member.
Yeah, Allah.
No.
Sheikh, just as a disclaimer, Sheikh Yusuf doesn't swear. He doesn't know how to swear as well.
But I mean, it's like you have to have, and even switching off, man.
Yeah.
I think the younger scholars, the younger imams can actually switch off on a weekend and can actually hang up the thobe and put on the service. Whereas our more senior, our predecessors,
What goes on?
they in imam zone 24/7.
Yeah.
They don't do imamat, they are
They
imam.
are. They are. They are
That's a good
imam.
one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they go to bed with their thobes on. And then
No, but I mean, really, it's something that we really need to look into. And that's why you could have a crappy day at work and switch off and like sit in the car for 5 minutes
just decompress, yeah.
and try and come in. But like we said, the thought process is different. And because we can't, so whatever,
Compartmentalize.
we like goal driven. We can't multitask. All right, so we do you cook, Sheikh?
No.
Right?
Please. Cut that. We go to Houdini's spot and my wife Bryce. Then I tell her, you're going to embarrass me now. Because then the neighbors come over and they help us.
Can you light a fire?
Yeah, I think so. Why do you always direct these questions to me?
That's why, man. That's why.
Kasi I'm a linear. You can't man holiday.
No, it's not. But you don't enjoy cooking. I really enjoy. I made soup now the other day.
No, it's not like that. It's because my life is so busy, right? It's from one thing to the next that these things. If I have free time, I'm not going to spend it doing that.
You just want to rest.
Not necessarily rest. Things that I enjoy, I'm going to do, yeah, but not that.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I spoke at school today with one of the teachers, and I said that's actually a skill that I would love to pick up. Just play around with food and stuff like that.
If I make food, I like to make one pot stuff. I don't want to know still you have to cook rice and then a protein and then a
Mm.
potato, vegetable.
Ah.
That's like a one pot thing. So I'll
Can
make soup.
Sheikh Ebrahim cook?
I can
Of
cook,
course,
I
he comes from a catering background.
Huh?
He comes from a catering background.
Yes.
Can you make bolas? Donuts.
He give
Cosistas.
you.
Donuts, maybe.
Okay, so sisters, they are emotional, but being emotional is not usually, it's not necessarily negative. Because we use it negative, it's just very emotional.
Yeah, vrouwen's emotional, yeah. And then it appears to people that it's something, but it's not.
What if they weren't emotional? How would they
Exactly.
take care of the kids? How would they take care of you?
Exactly. Yeah. You. The other thing also, if there's an issue, they want to sort it out now. Man. It mustn't still.
Fiesta, yeah.
They want to sort, and you like we're busy. I don't have the time to sort this out now, man. Look here, we can speak about this again. And you know what? I'm okay. It's all right, but I'm not okay. I need to sort this out. Even if you're okay, then now just sit there and listen to it and engagement. And I think that is basically all that they want. They just want our attention.
So yeah, in that talk I was listening to this morning, 90% of women say that they prepared to opt for their husband to earn less if they spent less hours at work.
Yeah, subhanallah.
Right? One of our mashayikh used to say, in Cairo, a property on the Nile, that's like prime property, man. And he used to say, how strange it is that the doorman of the property has more enjoyment of the property than the owner.
Actual boss, yeah.
You go early in the morning to work, to pay, and
slave.
come back late. You slave to pay for that property.
For the doorman to enjoy.
For the doorman
enjoys
to
it,
enjoy.
yeah.
He enjoys the scenery, he enjoys the comfort of your home. And so 90% of women, they say, look, he can earn less if he works less hours and spends more time at home.
It's the same with us also, man. You're giving a lecture here, you're giving a class here. Other people is taking benefit. You're teaching there, you're teaching there. Other people is taking benefit from you. Alhamdulillah. But at home you're too tired to have those conversations. You don't want to repeat yourself again, man. What did you teach tonight? No, we're busy with the tafsir of
daarom sê hulle Sheikh se kinders is die stoutste kinders.
And somebody said that. Somebody said that, and I said it's because the Sheikh is more worried or spends more time with your child and looking after the tarbiyah and the education of your child than his own kids, man. And that's a shame, and that somewhere, somehow, we need to break that shackles as well.
I admire when I see like mashayikh with the kids. Like I see Ustad Abdurrahman Hassan with his son memorizing.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming Sheikh Tamamble does the same. And many of these mashayikh, they spend lots of time with the kids, man. And like make them memorize and stuff like that. I think it's true what he says. Like our families benefit the least from us.
Yeah.
In actual fact, in my family, no one asks me questions. Niemand vraagt me questions.
Somebody else go to another imam.
Or they discuss it amongst themselves with me sitting one side.
And your opinion is not even.
I'm like, no,
it's like, but I don't think it's specifically, restricted to imams. I know many a doctor, right? During COVID, their family took nothing from them. I mean, they would have their WhatsApp posts and statuses as the guiding light through medical issues and problems when they have a doctor. Lots of doctors complain. And so I said, no, Vitilo was full.
Not definitely.
So the last point was?
Point number two, we are different in our thought process.
Okay. And it's a difference that we need to celebrate and enjoy.
Yes.
And it's not tadad.
Yeah.
It's not opposing.
Contradictory and opposing.
It's not opposing. It's complementary.
Yeah. Number three, women need emotional security. And I think that comes back to that verse of libas that we are covering for them.
Yeah.
So emotional covering, spiritual covering, physical covering.
I think we touched on this also in previous episodes. They find out that you can lecture here, but you stay in, you with them, they don't even know, and they must see a post going out, Sheikh Yusuf, join us at this masjid and that masjid, a talk on this and that, key speaker Sheikh Yusuf. But you didn't say anything, you didn't tell us. And you would just slipped you because you said yes, and you forgot about it. And that brother is going to give you a reminder, and that post maybe that he's sending out is a reminder for you, but you didn't. So am I then not the first person to that should know. Imagine when, and I say this often, when we did the some Ramadan symposium, when we spoke about the life of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his marriage to Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, not just in adversity, man, was she the first person that he went to, but in good and khair as well, man. So not just when you're down.
And that's usually what we do.
Yes.
We go to our wife to sulk, complain, and she has to fix it.
And it's the same people that you put on a, maybe the wording is going to be wrong, but the same people that you serving outside that is going to get you in that state, but you're going to go
home
at the expense of your wife. But when they disappoint you, you go back home and you complain at home. So prioritize. Priority, Shaykh Yusuf.
Inshallah. May Allah grant us good marriages.
Amen. Inshallah.
الرجال قوامون على النساء. I was listening to Sheikh this afternoon and he said like men are the overseers of women, and generally when we speak about overseers we generally think finance, money, but he says spiritually oversee, physically, psychologically, all of these various avenues. If these rights and towards one another are fulfilled, then we will have an experience of bliss in this life, man. It will be an enjoyable experience to be married when we see to one another's needs. Khair, inshallah. Number 4. Women want a partner and a friend to listen to her and sympathize with her.
So they basically want their husband to be their best friend.
Yeah.
Okay. But sometimes it's tough for a man because you really have a best friend.
I always tell that to my wife. I always tell my wife, you're my best friend, number one. I have other friends though, but my wife is
she takes priority.
Yeah, she's my best friend. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
How do you make her feel that she's the best friend when you outside most of the time?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's what I'm saying now.
Sometimes I say you're just passing through Ottery or passing through Belgrave or passing through Tafelsig. How do you actually...
I think she needs to be the first to know everything. She's the first lady. So she needs to know first. She needs to know exactly. It's not like you, and I think this is where we differ, man. We look at it. You know that saying, that is something that, what is that? At the end of the day, you're going home to her. If she's unhappy, that household is going to be in Makkah. That same person that told you, laat jou vrou op jou kop sit, hy gaan huis toe. En sy vrou sit op sy kop. Sê nou Omar het na Rasulullah sallam toe gegaan om te complain. Ek kon kry dieselfde ding.
Yes.
So
I think that need to be the Rukachimet, to be the macho guy. So when you get the phone call, then you gooi the maspal approach.
No. When I get the phone call, like we know you're coming home, en die phone word in my oor afgesit.
Then you talk on.
Dan praat ek. Wallahi, ek praat dan.
You have to say, Sheikh, you have to say
what I mean, it's embarrassing, mas ek praat dan. Ja, okay, salam. Ek wou dit al 10 minutes gelede afgegat. You guys don't do that. Have you experienced that?
Yes, I can say I have.
But you don't.
Who did not?
I usually walk away. When my phone rings, I usually walk away from the company. So there's no real need for me to...
they won't know,
There's no real need for me to now still...
No, you get a totally different conversation. No, man, I'm standing here with Yusuf. Yes. Yusuf, dan gaan sê salams. So hy sê niks van hy nie.
Yeah, so so women want a partner to listen to them and sympathize with them. And this is how women solve problems. They want to speak about these things.
But we rationalize, man.
Yeah.
We just want to solve and fix it.
I have that problem. So my wife would come and say A, B, and C. And then I would try and rationalize, but couldn't it have been like, and I realize now.
Wallahi, I do that.
That's the wrong approach.
Yeah. Yes. I also do that.
Hy vrou het my so inlik ingesê.
Yeah. If the wife comes to you, she tells you something.
Don't say anything yet.
Then I say like, maybe you're reading too much into it, man. It's not like that, man. And then later I would realize, that's was reg gewees. So,
Wallahi. Well, yeah, that is very often the truth.
Especially at workplaces, man. My wife will say,
Cattish. Somebody's cattish.
Yeah,
yeah. Then I
We
say,
don't look at it like that, man.
that one.
Definitely.
That one.
Ah,
Watch out for that one. No, man.
ah,
He isn't so a coy guy. Few months down the
Bite
line.
your neck.
not
No,
true.
but I mean, there's obviously insight
There is, there is.
that they have.
Hulle call it a derde oog.
Hmm.
They created to have our backs, man.
Mm.
They
have
are
our
the
backs.
bus.
Yeah.
They all our ribs.
So yes.
Hmm.
So but why do we have an issue then? Why do we
They are
if
there to
we know
protect us.
all of this, why do we have an issue?
I think it's a problem in retracting, man. I like Ashik, right? And now my wife says, look, watch out for Ashik. I cannot imagine ever being betrayed by somebody so close to me.
Yeah.
Right? But then it happens. And then, you didn't have that insight. And and you can sometimes see it's gonna happen. But you're telling yourself, no, man. It can never be. But because of a different outlook and a different thought process, she can see things that you can't.
must. Yeah, you must.
Because
sometimes.
we're just rationalizing it. Why would any like long before we got married, there was this one brother who he wasn't a talib himself, he wasn't a student of knowledge himself, but he used to move with the students. And he said, I've never seen so much drama. Like, this is from outside, right? I've never seen so much drama amongst people like I see among students of knowledge.
SubhanAllah.
For a layman,
Yeah.
I don't like using that term, but anyway, for a person who's not studying formally, to say, I've never seen so much drama like I see amongst the students of knowledge. It's heavy.
Yeah.
But he's looking at it from
From an outsider's
Outside.
perspective, yeah.
so you will never think, why would this guy like? Also, when I started my imamat at Town Center Mosque, and then some people would come and say, look, watch out for this guy. Watch out for that. I said, but don't let him stand in front. Don't let him lead the salah. I said, why? Now you would want to lead tomorrow again. I said, but why would anybody want to
just lead.
Why would anybody just want to lead your post? But I can't think somebody would
That's
actually.
because you're innocent, man. You don't assume the worst of that person.
It's because you won't do that. You won't do it.
So now you
So
won't.
you
Now you
figure that
assume that
somebody else
else won't do it as well. Yeah.
And yet you find people that
No,
actually.
it's like that. Yeah.
And that is also why the difference come within our marriages, man. Because she's looking out for you. You're not looking out for yourself. You're not looking out
And
for
you're
yourself.
getting angry.
And you're getting angry because she's looking out for you. And
But
what
you
if she didn't?
But you're looking at that as a hindrance.
Yeah.
You don't want me
Yeah.
to have friends.
Yeah.
You don't want me to
Not
go
true.
out.
Not true. 100%. That's why she's your rib. I know it's gonna be, the hadith speaks that the Hawa alayha salatu wasalam was created from the rib of Prophet Adam. And the scholars say
The crooked rib.
Yeah, she's a
crooked one.
crooked rib. Why? Because she protects the heart. She's there to support you. And Allah knows best.
I mean, and one amazing explanation I heard once from a scholar is that when the Prophet says, and you don't, straighten the, if you straighten the rib,
You're
you're gonna break it.
You're gonna break
So
it,
if
yeah.
you on the highway, you're on the N2, and the N2 takes a bend, but you insist on going straight, what's gonna happen?
You're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
You're gonna
The
die,
same thing. You take
Yes.
the curves, you take the
Yes.
punches, you move with
You
the.
go with it, yes. Go
Yeah.
with it.
Khair, inshallah. Point number 5. Sex is not about the physicality of it. Rather, it is an emotional connection.
Easier.
Sex is not physical. Rather, for a female, it is about the emotional connection. And this
No.
is primary to her.
Yeah. But not always, no? It shouldn't always be just that soft.
No, but
I'm
this
just
is more.
saying.
This
You
is
must
more,
be.
It must be mixed up.
Yeah, no,
John
definitely.
Yeah, it must be. There must be.
No,
some-
definitely. But I mean, for them, it's more like this is how they emotionally connect with their husbands, man.
Oh,
You get
in
what I'm
that
saying?
sense, yeah. In
Yeah,
that
they
sense.
emotionally connect through intimacy. Intimacy is an emotional connection.
So Auntie Soraya Aronson says your best friend also have a best friend, and it's not you.
Definitely.
So rather have your wife as your bestie.
Nice, quite
Ajib.
deep.
Wise words.
Ajib,
Nice deep.
Ajib.
MashaAllah. Shukran, Soraya. Hamza Forbes is watching with my wife. MashaAllah. Barakallah feekum.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Auntie Tawheeda says men says easily maaf, but woman wants you to explain why you are sorry.
Allah.
And most of the times you don't know why.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
Have
saying.
you, how many times have you said sorry but you don't
our
know?
memories, man. It's our memories, man.
I'm saying because you only
We don't have that record button.
Yeah.
Ons kan nie onthou nie.
You
Ja.
don't go back, man. Way back. You just go back.
You
Surface.
parked it here and it disappeared, yeah.
Yeah. And one of the phrases that we use a lot is what's wrong? Because you can't make sense.
The other one. What do I do now? What do I do now? What did I do now?
What did I do now?
Yeah.
But it's when your kids come to, what did you do now again then?
Ay, kasi ako yung daily level.
Oh, when they see you in the dog box.
Yeah, what did you do now again?
Sheikh, Ashi.
Khair, inshallah. So we mentioned that sex is an emotional connection between husband and wife, and this is how women generally view it. They want romance. They want to be swept off their feet.
Yeah.
You know, they want to,
So it's for them, it's more the pre.
yeah.
than the-
Yes.
The pre is very important. And it's not just doing the act, the dirty, as they say. It's not a good term though. But you're not doing the act, but it's that build up. And this comes where the affirmations come in. Now you start your day. Now you interact with him. The touch.
So you need something, you want something, and so there's a road towards getting what you want.
Yeah.
So it includes nice words,
Definitely.
it includes a gift, it includes not upsetting.
Non-sexual touch throughout the day, messages,
Yeah.
all
Yes.
of these things. My wife will always tell me, like when I'm at home and I'm on my phone, she says, "Hey, message for Amal." But as ek vir jou messages deur die dag stuur, dan kan jy nooit, then you don't find the time to respond, man. It's
I think that
I'm mentioning
is-
these things because these are universal,
Definitely,
universal
definitely.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it differs. Women will always say these things, inshallah. So,
He's not being very sensitive tonight. No,
Now he's just going for
no, I mean, it's universal in the sense that most of us experience these things.
no, you're not that. What did you say after that? Women would just say things like that.
Generally speaking.
Generally
Yeah.
speaking.
You always put that disclaimer over there. So, yeah.
When it comes to the bedroom, you thinking about it makes you ready. But you need to ready her.
Definitely, yeah.
You can't just dive in, man. You can't just jump in, and that is where we, just as much as we want the satisfaction, we need to satisfy as well, man. It's a two-way street.
So it's like a diesel, like the old diesel cars, man. You can't just start and drive.
A minute.
Yeah, and there's a choke that choke.
There's a joke about this, and I'm going to tell you after the show is over, inshallah, that there's a brother that used to be in your class at the madrasa, man. He used to bring that. I'm gonna tell it to you how he told it to me.
Okay.
It was like stripping, yeah.
Okay. Questions. Okay.
Okay, go. Comments, go for it, inshallah.
Also watching with Mahabi, we're enjoying from Abdul Noor, also watching with Mahabi, we're enjoying this mashallah discussion. Rukaya Saban, washing the dishes and putting kids to bed is a romance too.
Allah.
No, but that's one of the 5 love languages that Gary Chapman speaks about. Acts of service.
Yeah,
acts of service is a love language. I mean,
Definitely.
we can't come and there's also the issue of, I was watching a very interesting discussion. We're speaking about that, no? The
Yeah,
pronunciation before.
yeah.
I was watching an interesting discussion between Gabriel Romani and the Sheikh Asim Al Hakim.
Okay.
So, almost both of them were like very hardcore, and they were speaking
Loose
about,
cannons.
yeah. I was going anyway, they were speaking about chores 50-50, man.
Okay.
Where sisters use the hadith of Aisha when the Prophet, used to be in the khidmah of the family, and they believe it to be 50-50. Even if she's a housewife and the husband is working,
8 hours.
they
9 hours
wash
a day.
half of the plates and leave the other half for him to
Subhanallah.
when he gets home. And they were discussing this. Men are like a gas stove, women are like an electric stove when it comes to from Harun Mayman. Assalamu alaikum, Harun. We make dua for his shifa. He was sick. It's true, yeah. So if you want to fry egg, you need to put on an electric stove and wait.
Yeah.
But the gas stove,
Take some time.
you
Yeah.
like that? That's ready. Another, it's what you said last week. A message during the day goes a long way. From Sister Tawheeda. Definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, it starts.
Just
if you want action,
it
starts way early in the day.
Yeah.
Starts with a smile, yeah.
With a smile.
With a smile. Starts with a
And
smile.
Sheikh Ebrahim has a very beautiful smile. No?
And not the Salah Brukian vest.
Please.
We're going to get to
people.
clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I think when we speak about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam
Sallallahu
and his interaction with his wives, then we have a skewed view, man.
Ah.
We think that Rasulullah came in, read hadith and told them what to do. And so when we study deen, then we think that everything that we say is it's
Law.
proper, it's right, it's kiki, you must do it like that. And if you don't do it like that, subhanAllah, how can you
You're
not?
going to Jahannam.
Yeah. And when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was at Sayyidatina Aisha's house, and one of the other wives sent a plate of food. What did she do with the food?
She broke the plate.
She broke the plate. What did Rasulullah do? He went on his knees, he picked up the glasses.
Hy was die minste.
Hy was die minste. He's the best of the best. Hy gaan op sy knie tel, hy sê vir die mense, sê vir haar, sy het nou vir haar kwaad gemaak. So if and you might I'm not saying second wife, we speak in here the common problems that we have in Cape Town is, I won't say common problems, but mother and daughter-in-law. Die vrou het kos gemaak, maar die ma steek nog altyd haar boodkos in. Sy op toe my ma se boodkos. As die vrou die ma se boodkos uit jou hande slaat, dan ja man. Ja man.
You've got precedent
Ek
there.
kan op diep nou man, ek kan op diep hoor.
If you want to eat, no. If you want to speak about the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then you must be prepared
To take
that as well, man. Like we say, we say we're the inheritors, right, of nubuwah. But with that came struggles and difficulty and all of that. But we're not prepared for that. We want the ilm and we want the izzah and we want all of that other things, but we don't want the difficulty and the struggles, and that's part of it. So when we speak about the blueprint of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then
yeah, like you say about knowledge, man. Nobody wants to know that they don't know, man.
yeah,
You know, this common ek ken my deen or like
Ek ken my sin nog
assuming
staan.
titles and you know the need to be somebody in the sphere of knowledge when that if it wasn't put into attain the knowledge.
Actually, someone messaged me this afternoon about that. They told me that 2 local imams known to both of you.
I got the same message. And you got the same message.
Okay, khalas.
Okay. Told them to remove the titles.
Yeah. In my opinion, right?
It's something good. Not something good, it's something necessary at times. What?
It depends, yeah. So if it's gonna be like, you know, if someone is being called like Ustad or something like that,
that's fine.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. But to say
Mufti.
yeah, obviously Mufti, because now it indicates some level of, you know, expertise or something, or Sheikh or something.
but we call the mufti, and the mufti is not the mufti, and we don't have an issue with that.
No, but that's
Or
probably I'm more
80%.
easygoing when it comes to these things, man. If they want to call the guy, that it doesn't really matter, as long as you know your place.
Yeah.
That's
That's
why
important.
Puta can
that's
work
it.
for me as well. I don't. That's why I thought
Puta didn't work for you.
He felt insulted.
Haji can work.
He's
Doctor
still,
can work.
you know,
Sheikh, continue.
Said inshallah. So a female wants to feel wanted and desired. I think that's all women. They want to feel wanted and desired. Number 6.
Nobody jumping.
that,
Why?
on that,
We discussed.
no, we didn't.
We didn't.
You must remember that
Stay in your lane, boy.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane.
as males, you admire the next male. Not you don't want to look like him. You don't wish to look like him. You maybe admire the thobe that he's got on the jacket or the way the jacket fits. But females always they compare, man. And because they go through a lot, they go through giving birth, their bodies change, they
Insecurities, all
all
of
of
these things,
those things, man. And you must reassure them that
And it's your kids that did that
it's
to their
your
body.
kids, yes, and it's you. It's no one else, and it's for you as well. So you must
And all the problems has to do with men. It's menstruation and
It's
menopause.
So you must make them reassure them that you know this is normal. It was bound to happen,
Sheikh,
and I knew it was gonna happen, and I'm okay with it.
when it comes to, you know, demeanor or looks or, you know, features or packing on weight, we look at the spouse, right? Or men look at their spouse, but when they look in the mirror every day and don't see that balding head and you know, the sagging skin and you know, we just
So isn't it? Oh look,
yeah,
Playboy. Snow White.
But when they start calling you uncle in the retailers or tata, somebody called me tata this morning.
Yo. I make it a point when someone calls me uncle, I put him in a place.
Okay,
No, but you can't.
that's Mr. Hill. That's
I'm
Mr. Hill.
53, man, yo, uncle. But it's like millennials, man, like 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, right?
No,
Because
it's okay, Moose.
but I'm 10 years older than them. So obviously, if they look at it from that perspective.
So then must say, uncle, Ebrahim.
So you must say Puta Moulana.
I was on the verge of saying Opa.
That can also work. If there's one thing that I dislike, and wallahi, I tell you, it's a guy that keeps him younger than what he is. Man. I think that you can still be presentable at the age that you are, but keep your age.
So ze met kousen draaien met de tekens.
Okay, that is again the community that you come from. If you come from Jack Purcell's and All Stars, then you don't do you understand? Then you don't wear socks. But I mean, keep your age. You can still be age appropriate in anything that you do, man. You can't look.
You can be relevant. You can be
relevant, and you can be neat, and you can be tidy, and you can be your age. We have these issues at school where the hair is a certain way, and the pants they make tight, skinnies and whatever. Then you call in the parents. As jy pa kom,
dan lyk
hy dieselfde man. No, hoe sê jy dan nou vir die man, jou sien sy hare so gesny en sy broek is tight en die man staan voor jou en hy sê
An older version of it.
An older version of it, yeah. Understand, your time is gone.
You're talking about kids and parents this morning. I was out early and I was back on my way home. And then there was this discussion on the radio of kids and mind-altering substances, like weed and stuff like that. So this one lady messaged, and she said her son was like openly trying to, smoke his weed in the house. And so the mother said, okay, in that case, dan gaan ek saam jou rook. And he immediately stopped. So I mean, there's sometimes extreme measures that parents need to, adopt or like endeavor in helping the kids. Sheikh.
Continue?
Yeah.
Number 6, inshallah. Women want to feel beautiful by the clothes that they wear and the accessories that they possess.
So you must have an eye for detail.
Yeah.
If it's a new pair of shoes or a new bag, or
you must notice it.
If you went to the salon, you have to notice.
Or a new abaya or something.
You need to be tuned in, yeah. I always say, if you're not going to notice...
But again, we goal-orientated, man.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you're not going to notice, somebody else is going to notice.
Whoa.
That's just how it is. If she can't speak to you, who's she going to speak to?
She's going to indulge someone else, yeah.
Most of the times, the reason why people go out of the, and this is my opinion, and this is based on experience as an imam, and is because their husband don't give an ear, their wives don't give an ear, their wives don't notice, the husband don't notice. You must notice these things.
It's like we said, Shaykh Moulana in Enjoy Your Life, he mentioned an old Arab saying that if the she-goat doesn't get attention from the male goat, she'll get another male goat.
True.
That's the reality. That is the reality.
So she wants your affirmations, comments, attention. Never stare at other women in the presence of your wife.
That's disrespectful. And that's not only an Islamic thing, man. I mean,
that's not also just in the presence of your
outside.
wife.
But I mean, it hurts obviously more when she sees you staring at other women.
If you're going to do it, if she's not with you, then, and you don't do it when she's with you, then you scale them. Isn't it?
Point taken,
inshallah. Also, don't joke about second wife with you or in her presence, or with her.
That is just dumb.
Or to her. No, obviously, some men have the liberty to do that. They can do that. Other men, I know many guys that if they dare mention that topic, dog box.
But but why do it if it's not? If it's just gonna.
Some guys just like entertaining the idea.
And it's the same guy who says, "Don't show the knife to the sheep on Eid al-Adha Day." I mean, like, I'm not saying.
Yeah,
I know, brother.
Comparison. I'm saying you respect.
Make it.
You respect that sheep, and but you don't respect
your slaughter. Beautify your slaughter. Yeah. The guy says he's got a 7-seater. one child says, I want to fill this van, man, to the wife, and the wife says, in your dreams, they all don't need to be yours.
I understand.
So that's all I'm like.
What's the name? And I've heard so many brothers tell their
No,
wives.
but also that topic we want to rationalize. Now, why do you get angry?
Yeah.
This was Dean.
Asteen. I spoke about this in the class now the other day.
Okay.
I spoke about this in the class, the issue of the second wife, right? Seeing that we're on that topic now. And I said, there's a common misconception in our communities. Many people believe it to be a sunnah, i.e. it's recommended.
Yeah.
As was a sunnah van die Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what many people don't seem to understand, that when the scholars discuss the issue of polygamy, they normally view it as something which is merely mubah. And I like making the comparison as like your wife tells you before she gets married to you, look here, I'm going to get married to you on one condition, that you cannot drink juice. So it's the same when she says like, I don't want you to get married to a second wife, man. She makes that a stipulation in the contract. It's mubah. It's merely permissible. And you've mentioned something interesting. You said a few sessions ago, you said that a person who wants to do that, they should consider whether it's going to, how it's going to affect their first marriage, man. You get what I'm saying? And I don't think people consider the first marriage and the first family before entering into something like that. And I've seen people getting married a second, a third time, but behind them, they've left behind, a wife and kids, and it's like messed up. Everything's messed up. So that's something that needs
that again breeds generational trauma. The kids hate their father.
Well, I know people who are sheikhs. And from the outside, right, how I viewed it as like stable kids, kids studied Islam, kids cover themselves, kids went to university, but they said like the amount of hurt that their mother went through when their father did that. It's like subhanallah.
I don't want to now sound, but I've never seen a guy with a second wife that has it easy.
I think it's supposed not to be easy.
I'm going to mention a Moulana. And die Moulana, ik joke samen om baie.
Okay. So that is serious.
Yeah. So he had a heart attack. The first one gave him a heart attack, and the other one gave him a stroke.
Yeah, Robbie.
No, what did I just?
Yo. Hij zou niet reageren.
So yeah, if you look at it,
but some brothers consider it a rukn of their deen, a pillar of their deen, in the sense like this is all that they speak about, man. This is the thing this is that thread that keeps them to Islam, a second wife. Some guys I know, I'm not gonna say they're unhappy in their first marriage, but like this guy speaks about this topic continuously, man. This is the only thing that
he speaks about,
right? And this guy would literally tell his wife this all the time. I'm thinking the psychological trauma that he's putting that wife through. She's always just
on
God, man.
On God, yeah.
Anytime this guy can, and this guy probably is never gonna take a second wife, But subhanAllah, the amount of trauma that he puts it through.
Yeah, not everybody. Shaykh Mustafa Al-Adawi. In fact, most of the mashayikh in Egypt, they don't have less than 4. The 4. So Shaykh Mustafa Al-Adawi has 30 children, 4 wives. I mean, it's 30, 17 girls, 13 boys.
Not some of them not adopted?
No.
Like I want to read something quickly that I came across. Man.
Okay.
They say, where is it
when they dress younger, they keep keeping the dream alive for the sick. I don't know, man.
What do you say?
When they dress younger, like Moulana said, some guys dress younger. When they dress younger, they keep the dream alive for the second one.
Not true. They do. The fact that it makes them feel younger, and having a second wife will also make them in their mind feel younger.
So you dress, you keep the dream alive, but your wife is keeping the dream alive for you by dressing up for you.
Die man is diep, jong.
No, I'm just...
Sy moet op Dr. Vol's couch gaan sit.
No, but really, I mean, it's like the one hand washes the other. I mean, we can't expect the best of... We want to breed, but both sides, basically. I mean...
Listen to this. I don't know how true is this. This is by Shaykh Ishaq al-Huwaini, one of the scholars of Egypt, his son, Hatim al-Huwaini. He quotes a few scholars, man. He says, قال ابن حيان التوحيدي أدركت قوما. I met people لا يجلسون بينهم من كانت له زوجة واحدة. They would not allow anyone to sit in their company who has one wife. They would consider them من صغار الناس, from the juniors. Right? قال القاضي أبو مسعود, one scholar says, من كانت له زوجة واحدة, whomsoever has one wife, لا يصلح للقضاء ولا الفصل بين الناس. He cannot be a judge between people. قال ابن خلدون, the famous historian and sociologist, he says تبصرت في الأمم الهالكة. I read the biographies of the previous nations, فوجدتهم اعتادوا أن تكون لهم زوجة واحدة. And I saw that most of these nations that don't exist anymore, that are extinct, most of them had
one wife.
Most of the people in that ummahs had one wife.
It comes down to culture. To me, it's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing.
Sheikh Abi Ishaq is a big proponent for ta'addud. Sheikh Mustafa Al-Adawi, Sheikh Muhammad Hassan, Sheikh Muhammad Hussein Yaqub, all of them. Not, according to my knowledge, none of them have
more than one wife. No. None of them have more than one wife. They only have one wife.
No. Less than one.
All of them have four. Yeah. Now, someone commented on that thing that the Sheikh says, Hatim Al-Hawaini, and they said Ibn Hayyan lived for 90 years and he did not get married for a second time. Qadi Ibn Mas'ud, he did not marry a second wife. And Ibn Khaldun, he never got married for a second time. فلا يوجد أحد من الأسماء المذكورة تزوج على زوجته أبدا. And so they say this is like.
But I mean, then you get Imam An-Nawawi, you get Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah.
Never got married.
There's no one fit. Yeah. No. I always tell brothers, this is not for everyone, man. Like, it doesn't mean you're talib al-ilm, you're going to do it. Like, some people are not just interested in that, man. And that's just how Allah created people.
But culture plays a massive role. I mean, I had a brother from one of the Caucasus, I think Chechnya. But he was studying in Egypt. He had his mother with him and his two wives in one apartment.
Yes.
And kids.
I knew a brother that studied in Newcastle. Right? He was studying there and he had two wives with him, and then they would live in the same house. I had, in actual fact, a student that studied at our madrasa. I met him after a few years. He was a revert to Islam. And so he had his wife, his current wife, he embraced Islam and he married this lady. She's a Muslimah. She was born Muslim. And then he met up with a girlfriend that he had. She was a Muslim, but they never got married. He had a child from her. And later he would meet her again and he would get married to her. And so he had two houses, right? But eventually, due to financial difficulties, he had to sell one house. And so he kept both of them in the same house. And I asked him, like, that's most difficult, man. If you want to relax with your wife, how do you relax with your wife? He says, Moulana, I don't do that. When they drive anyway, he would go everywhere with them. Man. So they would drive, they would sit in front, and he would sit at the back with the kids. And then, so one night he would be with the one in the one room, and the kids would go with the others. It's like a small 2-bedroom house. Then she would go. Then the second one would go with the kids to the other room. And then the next night he would swap it around.
You take me back to many years. I think I was like...
This doesn't sound right, man.
I'm like a month there, right? 1999. Yeah, 1999. I'm off to Egypt. I come there a month early. But there's like mu'tamirin in and out. And so what the people do, they call up the students and they, crash with the students and so on. So this uncle and his wife and his sister and the sister's son, they come and live with us. Right. So the one night, the uncle is sleeping with his wife. I'm sleeping in the room with his wife. The next night, the sister, which I think it's the sister, goes to the room, and then his wife is sleeping in the lounge. Yeah. But in actual fact, it was his two wives, and he's staying alone in the room. And the one wife bunks in the lounge and heavy stuff. But I mean, again,
but it's true what you said. It's culture. So it's culture. So I know an imam from one of the townships here in Cape Town. Right, he's got like 4 wives, and it's normal in the culture, man. Because before he became Muslim, this was part of the culture, and so obviously now Islam extended that rule, and so he practices on that. But I think it's culture.
Sheikh, we're gonna have load shedding very soon. We're just
9:45.
Yeah. So inshallah we can wrap up. So in a nutshell.
Also, last point. Don't rationalize every problem that your wife comes with. Sympathize with her. But I think we mentioned that already, inshallah.
And that's a big problem. We want to solve everything. We want
mechanical, robotic. We don't want to.
We do what's necessary, man. We don't worry with bells and whistles. Have you ever been in a conversation with your wife and sisters, perhaps, or friends? The level
I haven't been in, but I've been an outsider viewing them.
And what does a conversation do for you?
It doesn't interest me, number one.
Okay.
Number two, but they like the banal details, man. These small details, they discuss everything, and we are not like that.
And so we will say ABC and then
Yeah.
طيب. Closing remarks inshallah مشايخ.
Shaykh Ebrahim, inshallah, bismillah.
No, I just think that because we're dealing with humans here, and we have expectations, somehow along the line we will have disappointments. Somehow we will have disappointments from one another because we can't fulfill every expectation, and that goes both ways. We're different people. We come from different backgrounds. We come from different families. We were raised different. But that's also, on the other hand, what makes it beautiful, because you learn.
In our imperfection, we can create a perfect life.
Yeah. I was listening to Shaykh Moulana, and he says, it is not that you wed the perfect partner. According to you, maybe it is the perfect partner, but then you find out, and I always think this is the one that I want. You looked at your wife and you said, this is the perfect one for me. And when you're in the marriage and you want to change everything, you then found it to be perfect. That's why you married her. Just love with the imperfections. Love perfectly. The imperfections.
Love perfectly.
Yeah.
Deep.
That's deep, yeah. That is Dr. Full level.
Always.
I think when we started the series, we started with the verse wherein Allah Ta'ala says that hunna libasul lakum wa antum libasul lahun. That's it. That's our duty, inshallah. Be that covering for them and allow them to be that covering for you. I mean, we have and you mentioned something very important, and I think it stood out for me, was that sometimes we need to forgo our rights. You know, we cannot be like standing there with a checklist, but sometimes we need to forgo rights to satisfy and make our wives happy, inshallah. And Allah Ta'ala will see to our rights, inshallah Ta'ala. We make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal that He grants us, through these type of platforms and discussions, inshallah, good, strong marriages. The purpose of these sittings that we have, it is to implement these, inshallah, in our lives and our marriages. Barakallah fikum wa jazakumullah khairan.
So it's either Maulana Ebrahim or yourself that had a long list of topics given to you around when we opened the Shaykh Qabil to a can of worms. So inshallah for next week's one, we will have to take from that.
Inshallah, yeah, definitely.
From that list, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Anyway, so where's the khutbah tomorrow, Sheikh?
I'm at Montrose Park, commonly known as The Farm.
MashaAllah.
Plus.
MashaAllah. I'm
back in the good books.
I'm home. I'm playing home tomorrow.
MashaAllah.
Ibrahim.
Sorry, is that
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. Status in
MashaAllah. Anyway, enjoy the weekend, inshallah ta'ala. It's exam week next week at Al Furqan. Mark money, exam papers ready. Inshallah, barakallahu feekum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس هلا بالخميس ويكند عيال